Hi, I'm Jacqueline.
I'm Bree, and we're two modern women. We met about a little over a year ago, or a little under a year ago, and found a lot of things in common, but one of them being that we were really just craving unfiltered content around what it means to be a modern woman. And so we are really excited to have you here.
See you soon. Hey, Bree.
Hello. What's up?
I'm so excited to be back with
too.
you. So this is actually technically our first episode.
Yeah.
Our first
Officially.
full episode. Yeah. And so today we have a really exciting topic planned for you.
Yeah.
Which is
motivation.
Yes. How's it happen? Different schools of thought on it.
Yeah.
How we experience motivation and what we do to keep ourselves going every day.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm really intrinsically motivated, but I think there's a lot of like myths and stereotypes around intrinsically motivated people, because I feel like then there's this expectation that, oh, they don't need any prompts necessarily.
Sure, yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, no, they're always ready to go, and that is false.
Yeah.
There are days that I don't always wake up as excited and motivated. Like, I'm still human.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And then there are people who are extrinsically motivated.
Yes.
So people kind of pushing them along, or there's a deadline that they need to hit, or, you know, kind of like the Start With Why by Simon Sinek.
Oh, yes.
Always finding, like, why, what are you doing? And sometimes that's intrinsic. Like, I want to personally achieve this goal. Or it could be extrinsic. I'm saying that word incorrectly.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Okay. You know, I want to provide for my family, or I want to see my kids go off and do this great thing, or give them what I didn't have, or whatever it is. So I also think it's kind of a myth. And I also think that we're kind of born with it. I mean, in human design, there is this little section in your chart called willpower. And basically that, if it's defined, then you are somebody who naturally has access to your consistent power. Yeah. Like, you can go. And if you don't have it, then usually you're influenced by other people around you who do have it, or you are constantly working in order to prove yourself. Totally. Or prove your worth. And so, yeah, I mean,
I think there's also some, like, stereotypes around externally motivated people, in the sense of they're usually, like, selfish and stuff. Because they're like, oh, they need this, or they need that, or, like, they need this in order for them to work. Yeah. And that's just, like, that's some bullshit. Like, I love it. I mean, I think a lot of, like, the judgment is just always, I don't know, if you're intrinsically motivated and you feel like any sort of insecurity around that, then there's usually more judgment placed on, you know, that external, like, oh, I don't have that. Yeah. But I feel like, I don't know, I feel like both of them work. I know a lot of people who are intrinsically motivated. I know a lot of people who are externally motivated, and I feel like both of them are incredibly successful, brilliant people. So,
and then there is the discipline part of it. Because whether you are intrinsically or extrinsically, whatever, like, how do you actually get it done? Totally. And so then there's, like, the fail-safe almost, where you put your routines in place to get your shit done.
Right. Well, and I think it's two things. It's all about, like, knowing who you are and figuring that out. And the other thing, like, did you know? Like, when were you like, yes, I am this? Or are you kind of both? Like, I don't know if I ever, like, I don't know. I feel like it was around maybe my college age that I, like, noticed the difference and was like, oh, okay, maybe I'm more intrinsically motivated. But I also feel like it takes some time. Like, I feel like it varies.
Yeah. And also, I mean, I think knowing that about yourself is powerful, because then you can almost manipulate your situations in life to get what you need done or accomplish what you'd like. But at first, it didn't really matter. Like, I was very, very motivated my whole life to, like, get good grades and, you know, achieve things. And people think it's boring stuff. But why did I do that? Well, it's because I wanted to feel that sense of like success and recognition. And I, you know, caught my eye on something and I was like, yes, I'm going to do that. And like, I would stop at nothing to do it. And part of that I was just born with.
Yes.
And then part of that I was always like, oh, I'd get attention, you know, if I would do really great things. And so then I questioned like, oh, what piece of that have I carried with me into adulthood?
Sure.
Who recognizes me now? Ooh, like thinking, you know, thinking about that. And then two, I honestly think motivation really has to do with energy. And what I mean is like physical and energetic wellness.
Yeah.
Because I have, like I mentioned, I'm very, very self-motivated. I also have a why around my family.
Yes.
But when I don't feel good, I don't want to do anything.
Totally.
And so I think
you were the one who taught me that the way that I work most efficiently, like when you gave me my official human design reading, I think that was the first time that I've learned, like, it resonated with me so much when you were telling me how I work better in kind of waves.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, that makes so much sense, because I will get so much done in clumps. When I'm like super motivated, I will just boom, 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 boom. I'm so efficient. I'm like a superhero. And then I just like crash. And then I'm just like,
there are a lot of people like that.
Yeah. And then I need a good time to just reboot. And I think that's why I struggled in my 9-to-5 job, because it's like every day the expectation is to show up. But that was not successful for me.
Well, you're also a queen, but we'll just save that for another time.
Thank you.
I mean, like an actual queen in human design. But anyway, yeah, totally. And so many people, so our world is really built around, we'll call it the generator, and just they have consistent access to energy all the time. And that is only about 35, don't quote me on that, % of the population. Everybody else either doesn't have as much energy or it goes in spurts. Like you and I.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like just whole wellness. Because I think I was telling you, Brie, I wasn't feeling well in the mornings. It would take me forever to like get out of bed.
Yeah.
And like Rudy, my husband, would be like, seriously, get out of bed. Yep. And I was like, why do I not want to do anything? Why do I not, like, I have such a purpose behind what I do in my work. Why am I not excited about getting out of bed?
Sure.
And I found that I'm not going to diagnose myself because I'm not a doctor, but I think I just basically did like a wellness overhaul and like took some coffee out, put some veggies in, did some like celery juice stuff. And I'm not saying that's what you need to do to have energy, but it completely, like every morning I wake up ready to go, don't need coffee.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Sure.
And it and I think it changes everything.
It depends too on like how you're saying your overall health is too. Like you could do that and forget about everything else and you won't feel as energized as if you're also making sure that like, you know, you're just getting the right amount of sleep and just staying healthy too.
Yeah.
I think that's like, that helps me mentally a lot. I try and do like 30 minutes of movement a day. And I call it movement because it can be like anything.
Totally.
Like riding my bike, touching grass. Like
touching grass. This is my movement.
This is my movement today. Literally, yeah. Like I'll just like lay in the grass and just do like snow angels or something because I just like need to experience nature and just like movement, and that helps me, especially as a musician, especially when I'm in a songwriting phase, like really getting inspired and motivated is staying like calm and just at peace.
Ooh, I am really pushed by you in that area because I know, even though I'm not a musician, I create in different ways.
Totally.
And like finding my groove and consistent access to that creativity is difficult for me because I'm always in, the go, response to demands.
Sure.
So that's really cool. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Also too, I mean, movement can be, especially as parents, we are like, this day didn't get my workout in, but I'm not going to beat myself up about it.
Totally.
I'm going to go jump with my, daughter on the trampoline.
Yes.
Or we're going to go on a bike ride later. Or,
a family walk.
Yeah.
Or,
whatever. Or if it's, raining outside, we can just do something else. But I think too, modern women today, a lot of what I hear is like, how do I get motivation to work out regularly?
Sure.
Or, I don't know, do my like side project thing that I have always wanted to do, have a Pinterest board on, but never did. And that was totally like, that's been me so many times.
Yes.
I think I was telling you about it.
Yeah.
I sat on an idea for a year, my first like business idea. This was like years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe 4 years ago now. Would like throw stuff into the folder, the electronic folder in my free time at work, and would just like dream from my desk about making this a reality. And when I went to go like build a website, there's a lot of hurdles that get in your way when you're trying to do
like
things.
Blank.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, like, I would do it and I didn't like it. And then I would just like let one hurdle after another, and it just like, I completely trashed it. And since then I've done like 3 businesses. And
I think it goes back to like really knowing that about yourself and not like setting yourself up for success. So like learning, okay, so this is what I need in order to feel super motivated to make a website for this brilliant business idea. Or I think I used to think I was so lazy in the moments of like, oh yeah, I would just be like, I would beat myself up. I'd be like, I was so efficient. I was so great at this. And I think it's finally hit me. Probably it was like 2, maybe 3 years ago where I was like, it's not laziness at all. Like, because it's balance.
Yeah.
Like, it's balance because I do, and I think and that's why, like, this past year when you were talking to me about that in my design, I was like, oh, that resonates so much.
Yeah.
Like, yes, that's what I was working through recently. And especially as a business owner, I wear so many hats. And so
literally.
I think, literally, also love my physical hats. But yeah, I do. Like, I wear so many hats and, oh my gosh. Okay, sidetrack. Quick story about hats. So I used to have this like red bandana hat that I would wear. Cool. And I would wear it. I wore it one time for a week straight, and I would sleep in it and everything. And my grandma would tell me, she was like, Brie, your hair is going to grow, or your hair is going to fall out. And I was like, what? And she was like, if you keep sleeping in your hat, your hair is going to fall out. My hair's here, so we're fine. But also gross. I was like...
It didn't affect your hair?
No, it really didn't. But that was like my favorite hat ever. That was like my first love. And from there, I always loved hats. But yeah, as a businesswoman too, I feel like I wear so many hats. And it takes... Like, it's taken me a little while to figure out the kinks. But I think one of the greatest things that I've kind of built is my mindset. And also being able to tell myself that, like, I really don't believe in failure, which is something that I think is a really good strength because I put myself out there a lot. And I don't really believe that I fail. I think it's always a learned opportunity. And so...
Like, truly?
Truly.
I need more of that in my life.
Truly. Like, I truly believe that. Like, I mean, and I think that's why, like, I totally bombed this amazing, like, music project recently. But I left and I was like, I always tell myself 2 things. I'm like, did I show up? And did I do my best? And I'm like, yes, okay. And so then it's either like, if I still don't feel like I did as great and it wasn't like as great as I had hoped, then I start writing down things that I learned from it.
That is an amazing piece of advice.
Yeah. I mean, it's like seriously helped me.
I'm going to do that today because I'm sure there's something happening this week where I'm going to fail.
Right.
And I beat myself up about it.
Yeah. You won't fail. You're going to grow. Seriously. Like,
if I, don't get my workout on that day, okay, that's a bad example. But I'm like, oh man, like should have done that instead of lay on Instagram for half an hour. I could have been running that whole time. And that's a really, really low level example.
Sure.
But
then it's also like, okay, why did I choose to do that? Maybe my body needed that.
Yeah.
Or my brain needed that. And
truly.
It's like, yeah.
Because every day that I skip a workout, then I'm like, okay, the next day I'm actually way better performer in athletics.
Yes.
And 2, like you and I both have this thing where we see a goal and we can figure out the most efficient way to get there fast without putting a lot of structure and systems in place. It just kind of happens. People are like, how'd you do that? We're like, And so with smaller projects, that's easier.
Yes.
But with bigger projects, like for example, building a business.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's a big project at work or whatever. I mean, you have a lot of moving parts in your business for sure.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to sit. It's just not feasible for you to sit and do it all in one day.
Totally.
That's where I got hung up, is I tried to do that. And so what I learned after continually trashing my plans, it's like, oh, you need a plan and then the discipline to tackle one thing a day. And whether that was 5 minutes working on it a day, if it took 30 minutes a day, it's not like I changed the world in one day, but over a year, a lot changed. And I know that's like one of the most simple things, but it's like when women say things like, oh, I want to start working out, like, okay, can you add movement?
Sure.
15 minutes a day.
Well, and I think something that I've learned too, is you have time. And I think that was really something hard that I needed.
That is so good.
To like soak in.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I've gone through a lot of life at a very young age. Yep. And a lot of it has actually been around like grief and death. And like that's been very normal in my life. And so a lot of it was just like, life's so short. Life's so short. So like do everything now. Do everything as much as you can. And I think it wasn't until like I started a business, I'm working on 2 albums right now, I'm working on like 4 different projects, that it was like, okay, Brie, you have time. Like, you are 28 years old, you have time. And I think that makes me like pause and be like, okay, what do I get to work on today? And what can I get accomplished? And then it's like, okay, and then there's always tomorrow. Whereas instead it was like, oh, there's never tomorrow. How do you know if tomorrow's going to come?
Totally.
And it's like, okay, wait, no, like, I just need to trust the universe and like today, what can I get done? And just take it day by day. And that makes me happier. And I'm also way better at my projects when I have that calm and like that happiness.
That is so good. Yeah. I used to have the feeling of like, it's never enough. I never did enough. And then I would never feel accomplished or done. Mm-hmm. And one thing actually, my current boss, it was, I don't remember where he heard it or maybe he made it up. But our company does Friday finishers. And so I used to leave Fridays thinking like, I have so much to do this weekend. You know what I mean? Or like, I have so much to do tonight. I'm not going to be able to sleep this weekend if I don't get this done.
How can I possibly relax?
Exactly. And we have this thing called Friday finishers. And at the beginning of the week, you create your list. At the beginning of the week or at the end of the week, you check things off, and the things you can't, I mean, you keep working on.
Sure.
But that is how I have any rest in my life now.
I love that.
Because I like complete the list. And then I'm like, yeah, I could do more, but is it going to, become a roadblock to my sanity, my peace, or fun with my family? Any of that?
Sure.
Then I'm just going to keep it off the list and put it on next week's list.
Right. Yeah. It's like, then you have the start to Monday. You're
Exactly.
like, oh, great.
Exactly.
These 3 things didn't get done? Fabulous. Those are the top 3 for next week.
It's so simple, but it has made such a difference in
love that.
how I feel when I close my computer on Friday nights.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I know. It's like so tiny.
Brilliant.
I don't know.
It's so brilliant.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, modern women and motivation.
Yes.
What motivates you?
Yeah. Yeah. I would love if you, like, posted in the comments or liked or shared and talked about are you intrinsically motivated? Are you both? Are you, I would love to hear your thoughts. And, cause I think there's a lot of different opinions around both, but I think a lot of it has to do with just like getting to know yourself the best you can and what sets you up for success. And then like planting those things that you need to succeed.
Yeah. What do you love? Sometimes it's a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Give me the Joe.
Yes.
Give me the Joe.
Give me the cup of Joe. Give me the cup of Joe.